I got him.
Oh, we got to consent to that now, do we?
I guess.
I did have to do that all by myself. No guards around.
Good job.
You did it. Good job.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on a minute. Okay, so let me grab my document. This is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Ivan Melvin Thompson. We have several files. We have file number 19-19627FH, which is a violation of probation file. We have 19-19628FH, which is a violation of probation file. Miss Adams, we need Mr. Jones, Mr. Moore, Mr. Stevenson.
Okay.
I'm trying to see. The probation officer was Sarah Teskey. So hold on, let's get Ms. Teskey. Hold on 1 minute. I know she's here, so. All right, so those two files were violation of probation files and are set for sentencing because the plea has already been entered. Is that correct, Mr. Stengel?
Your Honor, I wasn't aware that they were going to, my client was going to be sentenced on the violation of probation today.
They're scheduled, but we'll move it to the other sentencing.
Oh, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. So Ms. Teskey, we're here on Mr. Thompson today. I know he's set for sentencing on 2 violations of probations, but he's going to be entering pleas on his other 4 files. So I will set the violation of probation sentencing over for that day. Okay.
Perfect.
All right, so then we are here on file number 20-19968FH, 20-19969FH, 20-19970FH, and 20-19995FH, as well as 20-19996FH. So, Ms. Weiss, very slowly, so I don't lose track, starting with the lowest number, file number 20-19968FH. Is there a plea offer on that file?
Yes, so the plea would be on each file would be no contest. So on the 6-8 file, it would be count 2 unarmed robbery.
Can you send me the information on this, Jackie?
What information, like the felony information?
Oh, I'm sorry. Becky usually will do that.
No, okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
And then
so,
file
okay, so-
6-9 FH would be count 2 assault and battery. File,
Okay.
oh, sorry, file 70 FH, count 2 resist and obstruct a police officer. Count 9 or file 95 FH, count 2 larceny in a building. File 96 FH, as well as the remaining counts on the other files, will be dismissed at the time of sentencing.
So 9-6 files dismissed at the time of sentencing.
Correct.
Okay, so, all right, so hold on 1 second. 9-5, so I'll take the count 2. 70, count 2.
I made it easy by doing count 2 on all files.
Thank you. Okay. So, Mr. Stengel, is that a correct recitation of the plea as you understand it?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Okay, and, all right, so, Mr. Thompson, can you raise your right hand?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
All right. Now, sir, you have heard the statement of your attorney and the prosecuting attorney. Is it your intention on file number 20-19968FH to plead no contest to count 2 unarmed robbery?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and do you understand the maximum penalty for that offense could be up to 15 years in prison?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and is it your intention on file number 20-19969FH to plead no contest to count 2 assault and battery?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, do you understand the maximum penalty for that offense could be up to 93 days in jail and or a $500 fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and then is it your intention on file number 20-19970FH to plead guilty to count 2 police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing, which carries a maximum penalty of up to 2 years in prison and or a $2,000 fine? Is it your
Oh.
intention to plead guilty to that?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, and then is it your intention on file number 20-19995FH to plead no contest to count 2 larceny in a building?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you understand the maximum penalty for that offense could be up to 4 years in prison and or a $5,000 fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, are you satisfied with Mr. Steingold as your attorney and the advice that he has given you?
Yes.
All right. Now, neither the prosecutor, the defendant, nor anyone on the defendant's behalf has discussed a possible sentence with the court. Is that correct, Ms. Weiss?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And Mr. Steingold?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And Mr. Thompson, is that correct as far as you're aware?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Sir, if a guilty plea is accepted, there will be no trial. This means that you will be giving up rights you would have had at a trial. I'm going to explain those rights to you now to make sure that you understand them. You have a right to a speedy public trial by jury. You may ask for a non-jury trial, and if the prosecutor and court agree, you can have a non-jury trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have the prosecuting attorney prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty, and you do not have to prove anything. You have the right to be present at trial and have witnesses against you appear at your trial and to ask those witnesses questions. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses you have for your defense to appear at the trial. You have the right to remain silent during your trial and not to have your silence used against you. However, you also have the right to testify at your trial if you want to testify. Sir, do you understand that if your pleas are accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal issues that would otherwise be appealable if you were convicted at trial? Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that any appeal from the conviction and sentence pursuant to the plea will be by application for leave to appeal and not by right? Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you are not a citizen of the United States of America, a conviction of a crime may result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States of America, or denial of naturalization. Do you have any questions about the rights that I've given to you?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so sir, I'm going to go through each file and then ask you if you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest. So if you're pleading no contest, you would just, when I ask how you plead, you would say no contest. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so on file number 20-19968FH, how do you wish to plead to the charge that on or about June 27th of 2020, and is that the city of Adrian,
Yes,
Weiss, in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense of unarmed robbery? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, on file number 20-19969FH, how do you wish to plead to the charge that on or about June 27th of 2020 in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense of assault and battery?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead?
Guilty.
No
Are you pleading?
contest.
No contest, I meant no contest.
Okay. All right, and then on file number 20-19970FH, how do you wish to plead to the charge that on or about June 27th of 2020 in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee that you did commit the offense of police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing?
No contest.
Okay, last file, file number 20-19995FH. How do you wish to plead to the charge that on or about June 27th of 2020 in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee that you did commit the offense of larceny in a building?
No contest.
Okay. Has anyone made any threats or promises to you to induce you to plead no contest to these charges?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand that if I accept these pleas, you will be giving up any and all claims that your plea is given as a result of promises or threats that were not disclosed to the court on the record during this hearing, or that it was not your own choice to enter the plea? Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the prosecutor or defense counsel aware of any promises or threats or inducements other than the plea bargain to induce the defendant to plead no contest? Ms. Weiss?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Stengel?
No, Your Honor.
Has your attorney promised you any particular sentence or estimated what your sentence will be, Mr. Thompson?
No, Your Honor.
Is it your own choice to plead guilty?
My own choice.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. Is it your own choice to plead no contest?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Ms. Weiss, would you please, and let's, if we could start with file number 20-19968FH, could you please place the factual basis upon the record? And also, Ms. Weiss and Mr. Steingold, you have stipulated to the information she's going to be using. Is that correct, Mr. Steingold?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Weiss, on that file, could you place the factual basis on the record?
Yes, Your Honor. On or about June 27th, 2020, in the city of Adrian, county of Lenawee, state of Michigan, the defendant did go to the home of Tammy Schwartz. He began yelling at her to get the fuck back. He eventually grabbed her by the throat and took Tammy's cell phone without her permission and fled the residence with the telephone.
Okay. All right. Okay. So based on the facts placed on the record and from the information contained in the police report, which was provided to both the court, Mr. Steingold and Ms. Weiss used, the court does find beyond a reasonable doubt that on or about June 27th of 2020 in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee, that the defendant did in fact commit the offense of unarmed robbery by using force in the taking of a cell phone from Tammy Sue Schwartz in the course of committing a larceny. Is that satisfactory, Ms. Weiss?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Therefore, the court does accept the no contest plea on that file. All right. So Ms. Weiss, if we can move on to, and I realize some of these might overlap, but could we move on to file number 20-19969FH? Could you place the factual basis on the record?
Yes, Your Honor. On or about June 27th, 2020, in the city of Adrian, county of Lenawee, state of Michigan, the defendant did go to the home of Herman Pawelke and tackled Mr. Pawelke to the ground.
Okay. All right. So based upon the facts placed upon the record and from the information contained in the police report, the court finds beyond a reasonable doubt that on or about June 27th of 2020 in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee, that the defendant did in fact commit the offense of assault or assault and battery by tackling Herman Jerry Pawelke and bringing him down to the ground. Therefore, the court accepts the no contest plea. And Ms. Weiss, I'm going to presume that was not in sport.
That's correct. That was not in sport and without consent.
Okay. All right. So then we could move on to file number 20-19970FH. Ms. Weiss, can you place the factual basis on the record?
On or about June 27th, 2020, in the city of Adrian, county of Lenawee, state of Michigan, the defendant did come into contact with Sergeant Leslie Keene of the Adrian Police Department. At the time of that contact, Sergeant Keene was wearing an Adrian Police Department uniform with all the patches and insignia indicating that she did in fact work for the city of Adrian Police Department. Sergeant Keene was driving a fully marked patrol car with lights and sirens. At the time of the contact, Sergeant Keene was attempting to take the defendant into custody when the defendant pulled his hands away, placing his hands underneath his body and refusing to allow Sergeant Keene to effectuate that arrest by handcuffing him.
Okay. Based upon the facts placed on the record and from the information contained in the police report, the court finds beyond a reasonable doubt that on June 27th of 2020 in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee, that the defendant did commit the offense of police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing, and that Sergeant Keene, who is an officer of the Adrian Police Department, was in full uniform with marked insignia and driving an Adrian Police Department vehicle. And the defendant should have known or had reason to know that she was performing her duties. And while she was attempting to take the defendant into custody, he pulled his hands away and placed them underneath him so that she could not restrain him. So I do accept the no contest plea. Moving on to file number 20-19995FH, Ms. Weiss, can you please place the factual basis on the record?
On or about June 27th, 2020, in the city of Adrian, county of Lenawee, state of Michigan, the defendant did come into contact with Terry Fields. At that time, the defendant did take a television that belonged to Miss Fields without her permission by unplugging it from the wall and taking it from Miss Fields' home. Defendant left that home with the television. He never returned it.
Okay. All right. All right. Based upon the facts placed on the record and from the information contained in the police report, the court finds beyond a reasonable doubt that on or about June 27th of 2020, in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee, the defendant did in fact commit the offense of larceny in a building by entering a dwelling house without permission and stealing a television without permission. Is that right, Ms. Weiss?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. And therefore, the court finds that he did commit the offense of larceny in a building, and the court does accept the no contest plea. All right. Has the court complied with the MCR 6.302 B, C, and D? Ms. Weiss
Yes, Your Honor.
and Mr. Steingold.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I accept all the pleas. They have been given understandably, voluntarily, and accurately. The defendant has full knowledge of his rights, and he does have competent counsel. This court has made no agreement regarding the possibility of a plea or possible sentence in this case with the prosecutor, the defense attorney, the defendant, or anyone acting in the interest of either of them. I'm going to refer this matter to the probation department for a pre-sentence investigation. Mr. Steingold, are you available on September 17th at 8:15 in the morning?
Your Honor, I start a first-degree murder trial on September 7th. That's supposed to last 2 weeks. It's possible it will be done by the 17th, but I can't commit to it. So if we had a different date.
So, Mr. Steingold, I can set it that day with a backup date for the 23rd or 24th.
That's fine.
All right, Ms. Adams, I will schedule this for September 17th. Mr. Steingold, you just merely need to let us know if you're not going to be available then, and we will set it over. Ms. Adams, would it be the 23rd or 24th as an alternate date?
24th is probably best.
Okay. So, and that will be at 8:15 in the morning, and we'll pencil that in on both days for you, Mr. Steingold. All right.
Thank you,
So, Mr. Thompson, you've met Ms. Teskey before. I believe she did your prior pre-sentence report. So when you meet with her, be truthful about your background and she'll update your pre-sentence report. Obviously, you entered a no contest plea, so we understand that. And
Yes,
then we will
ma'am.
be back on September 17th, hopefully for sentencing at 8:15 in the morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor,
Right.
I apologize. I don't mean to interrupt. I did forget to place on the record that Mr. Steingold and I did stipulate to the use of the police reports as well as the factual basis so that Ms. Teskey could score the guidelines in this matter.
Okay, so the copies of the felony information with the attached police reports, can I send those across the hall to Ms.
Yes, Your
Teskey
Honor.
then? Okay,
Yes, Your
they don't
Honor.
need to go in the file. All right. Anything else we need to address today?
But the only thing that I was thinking, I don't know if it's necessary, is that I don't think that Mr. Thompson was advised on the record that you have a right to insist on being, on pleading and being sentenced in person. We
Yeah,
proceeded by
you're right.
Zoom. And
I
Mr.
did forget that.
Thompson, did
So
you
Mr.
consent?
Thompson, Hold
I'm
on,
sorry.
Mr. Stengel. I did forget that. I'm sorry. Mr. Thompson, you do have a right to be present in the courtroom for sentencing. Due to the pandemic, we are now allowed, if you waive that right, for you to appear via Zoom for sentencing. So, Mr. Stengel, what are you asking of Mr. Thompson?
Mr. Thompson, do you consent to proceed by Zoom at sentencing?
Yes, whatever was good for you, Mr. Mr.
Well,
Steingold.
this is your case, this is your life, so it has to be your call. I'm good either way. If you'd rather be in person, we can arrange to be there in person. If you consent to do it by Zoom, we'll do it by Zoom. This is your choice.
We can do it by Zoom.
Okay, all right. So thank you, and we'll see you back on that day via Zoom.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Thank you to your staff and thank you, Ms. Weiss.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. We'll see you back.